I am excited to announce my new podcast, Giving Legends. It's an opportunity for me, Hannibal Navies, and my co-host Charlie Batch to talk with people of influence who are committed to building a legacy through service. Stay tuned and learn what makes them giving legends.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Charlie Batch, and I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Hannibal Navies.
What's going on, Charlie?
Not much. And we are here, Giving Legends Podcast, and this episode here is brought to you by Zoa Energy. And Zoa Energy is powered by great taste, electrolytes, B and C vitamins, zero sugar, and caffeine from green tea and green coffee. It's available on Amazon and at a store near you, like 7-Eleven, Costco, and more. For more info, go to zoaenergy.com. That's ZOA Energy.com. And as you can see, back here on Media Row, and we are joined by one of my favorite guys, man, 12-year NFL vet. This guy does it all, Mr. Michael Thomas. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Appreciate y'all having me on.
Not a problem, man. Hey, I know you've been circling around, man. It's been crazy trying to get in and out of here, but as we sip, so we appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Oh, no, man. I appreciate y'all having me. Like you said, it's busy, but again, being able to come on this podcast with some of the legends, some dudes I grew up watching, shoot, it's a blessing.
Oh, good.
And when you see behind the scenes, right, you're like, okay, all this stuff going on, obviously you're still playing and those type of things. How does this kind of help you kind of figure out kind of what the next step is if you want to get into the media or something else into it? Now, how does that open up the doors for you?
Man, one, just seeing how much like goes on behind the scenes, it's like, okay, it's a production. Like, I don't care if it's a podcast, if it's a major show, whatever. Everybody got a lot of stuff going on. And again, for those who don't know, I mean, it took me a second to even get on here, so I appreciate y'all still having me on. But like, nah, it's helping me think about life after football. We all know, we want to play forever. We Superman while we playing, but at the end of the day, we all got to, that day's coming for all of us. And I'm starting to see, okay, everything that I've done throughout my career and the relationships I've built, it's kind of helped me, set up for what I kind of want to do, even if it's like, nah, I know I don't want to do those things. But these are some of the people, because I've built relationships with, they're starting to reach out to me like, hey, Mike, I think this role we got, it'll be great for you. If you want to have a conversation conversation with us for this, let us know. And I'm starting to get to that point in my career that, man, look, I'm thinking about it.
And you kind of remind me of myself, right? And
yeah.
I say that because as I was kind of twilighting towards the end of my career, as we were going into collective bargaining agreement,
right.
2010, 2011, 2012,
yeah.
It was important. As the Steelers, we were the oldest team in the league. We knew we all were getting ready to transition.
Right.
Trying to create something that was there, fighting for what transition looks like.
Right.
That ultimately related to the trust, right?
Exactly.
Everybody kind of going into that phase, you figure out what that looks like now. Here you are now, active, building the relationships, thinking about what's next in your process. As that active player, how important is you for you build relationships prior to you exiting in the league?
Absolutely. One, because we all know, or at least we know, while you're in the league, everybody's willing to answer that phone call, return that email. They'll make time for you, bring you in, introduce you to other people. And I think we even talked about it before we started this today. When you do stuff like that while you're actively playing, once you're done, those people, they remember that. So I'll tell anybody, man, while you're actively playing, build those relationships. Go take those internships. Shoot, if you into anything, gaming, go try to do something with Nintendo, with PlayStation, with Xbox. You know what I'm saying? If you're into comic books, go try to work with Marvel or something like that. Even if you find out like, nah, I don't really want to do that for a career after football, but at least you're pursuing your passions.
And here's the thing that I like, right? When you talk about what that transition looks like, for me it was important, right? Because prior to the 2011 CBA, coaches can bring you into the building at will, right? It started to go April, then it started creeping into February. We had to make a rule to say no. We had to make a rule across the entire league.
Right.
Coaches, you can't touch players until April, right? To that point, to allow them to go get the internship, allow them to further their education, all of those type of things without that threatening from the coach, right? And it was like, no, so coaches were upset about it, but yet it helped players because, again, if you talk about the importance of transition, how can you help them get to that point? So for me, I appreciate you because you took the notion of being on a player rep, executive committee, and continuing that fight on the importance of the transition. So I say all of that, say I appreciate you because now the players who are coming into this league don't understand why the offseason doesn't start till April. They just expect it, but not understanding the fight. Talk a little bit about that at the last CBA that you went through and the importance of having these players understand the why.
Exactly. I mean, one, thank you, because, again, it is just a given for me. That's how I came in the league in 2012, so that's all I've known the NFL to be, so appreciate y'all, man. And now, like you said, talking about the why with this last CBA negotiation, we were just chopping it up. one of the things that we wanted to talk about was trying to help raise the floor of the, I guess the bottom earners, either the practice squad, the guys on vet minimum, right? And we were like, what could we do to try to preserve guys' career, or help them have longer careers? We said, okay, well, why can't we have veterans on practice squad? And we changed that in that last CBA to allow veterans to be on practice squad so they can extend their careers. Even if they're taking less than what they would have made, if they were on the active roster, it still gives them a chance to still play in the league, to still have a chance to make an active roster even later in the season and just be around the game. So again, that was something that we had to make concessions and sacrifice for. But as an executive committee member, we knew that we were doing, something that thousands of players were going to benefit from instead of just increasing maybe minimums a little bit, right?
And the funny thing is, all he knows is one-a-day practices. He don't know the two and maybe a third when he try to slide in. He don't know that, Hannibal, see?
They got rid of 2-a-days when I was in college, man. Shoot, that's the last one I had.
You don't know, man. You have no idea, dude. I'm feeling it now, dude. I'm like,
oh, man.
2-a-days, and it was weeks. It was like, y'all get 2 weeks, and that's it.
I ain't gonna lie, it's sweet right now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Pads, y'all don't even have no pads on. I'm like,
as a vet, all of us that are still in the league, and with this new CBA, we bro, we stealing right now. Right. We are still in years.
I need to look at Charlie Charlie, you need to go to that earlier. Right?
Bro, we still in years right now, man. But to your point, because of what we've worked for to create these off seasons, to allow guys to stay in the league longer and build those relationships, take advantage of them, right? I've been able, Charlie, to kind of create a brand for myself and just really, again, building it off of relationships. I started a No Excuses brand, really supposed to be my youth football league. That's what it was supposed to be about in just our motto. I had this hat made, I think, in 2019 when I was with the Giants. I pulled the hat out in training camp in the locker room. Saquon, Eli Manning, everybody was like, bro, that's your brand? Mm-hmm. I think you got something. Yeah. Hit my dudes up. We had e-commerce, started selling it. It sold out, within the first couple days.
Nice.
Fast forwarded to now. I've been doing that for a while. Had a, deal with Fanatics, deal with NFLPA, did the social justice shirts with the NFL in 2020. So now players are starting to see that. So now you get Justin Reed, because I built a relationship with him, Stanford guy, in the Super Bowl this year. He's like, Mike, I want to do a shirt, in Spags We Trust. Dave, beware, what's the deal, baby? What's good, dog? You good now? That's a legend right there. Come on, dog.
This is live. That's it. While we're on Media Row.
He's like, man, I want to do this shirt. Can I sell it on your site? Bro, this shirt right here, in Spags We Trust. It's Justin Reed's shirt right here. In Spags We Trust.
There we go.
On the site selling right now. He did it for the AFC Championship game, selling it right now. I mean, it's going crazy. The most highest selling product on our site ever. And it's the power of players, building your own brand. And again, for me, I didn't ever think I was going to get into the fashion business, you know what I'm saying? But just organically, that's what's happened. Right. Just off of building relationships, man. So
absolutely,
it's crazy.
Love it.
That's amazing. When I met you, man, you obviously in the thick of your career. We just talked about it earlier, taking advantage of all the different things while you're playing, the internships, different things, and being involved in the, as being an executive committee and being a part of that CBA and that negotiation. I played a very long time, but I didn't, I was younger, grew up and understood it, and I learned a lot from Charlie about how that all works. Who was your mentor? Who pushed you in that direction to understand that? Because a lot of us go through, and I'm include myself in this, where we go through playing, we don't understand the business of the football, we don't understand the union of the football, we don't understand all the opportunities from the internships to the the continuing education things that are going on. I caught on late, but the one thing I was impressed about you very early on was that you was like, I'm doing this now, you in the thick of your career. Who brought you to that point to understand that? I'd say I can't give it credit to just one person, but to be honest, it was a lot of my OGs, between Antoine Bethea, between Dante Whitner, Deshaun Golson, a lot of player directors that I had, Caleb Thornhill, David Tyree, and then when you talk about everybody within the NFLPA, I mean, Don Davis, Zamir Cobb, y'all, you know what I'm saying, just chopping it up with y'all. When I would see y'all at the NFLPA meetings, man, that, y'all giving us what the transition was like for you, what your experience was like. Mike, if you know what I'm saying, if I could go back, I would do this, or this is what I did, and it set me up for success, I'll listen to that. And if people constantly, if I'm hearing something constantly over and over,
Do it while you're still playing. Start it while you're still playing. Try to build it while you're still playing. So even if it's struggling, it gives it a chance to either, you know what I'm saying, like build itself. And once you're done, it's solidified. You got that foundation. Or you figure out, nah, that's not what I want to do. And you can already start working on what's next. So I just took heed, man.
And you talk about mentors and those type of things. I'm going to throw a name out there, see if you know about a name at Stanford, right? The Old Pro. You know that bar?
The Old Pro, come on, dog. That's one of the only places we could go.
So, did you know the person who owned it?
Yeah.
Bill Campbell.
Yes.
That's my mentor.
That's crazy.
Born and raised in Homestead.
Yeah.
Went to Columbia, worked his way out there, eventually became coach of Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah.
Built up into it, sat on Apple board for over 20 years.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of work together over 15 years before we lost him in 2016. So I spent a lot of time out there in Stanford, but people don't know his backstory. Bill Campbell was a coach of Silicon Valley, taking Jeff Bezos, taking Amazon, Facebook, found all of these guys, very cool with Tim Cook. And when people realize, wow, this guy's coaching all of this, they wrote a book about it. And I don't know if you know the name of the book. It's called $1 Trillion Coach. Everybody that he mentored had a valuation of $1 trillion.
That's crazy.
So I'm going to show you the book and come. Great guy. That's who was my mentor. Loved him to death until we lost him. That's how I had a chance to learn who he was. So we'll chop it up a little bit after that, because mentor that give you a platform to allow you to enter their space in a non-threatening way.
And I'll be remiss if I didn't say who my biggest mentor was, and it was just chopping up with him yesterday. My big brother since I was at Stanford. Matter of fact, before I got there, he was my host, Richard Sherman.
There you go.
I'm like, hey, sorry, my fault, bro. Three for the founders, man. But yeah,
I think it's super interesting too, man. And before, we're on Giving Legends, man. So we always talk about the opportunity to give, right, beyond the field. But before we get into like the philanthropy part and what you do in that part, let's go back to the union and the fight and the union and stuff like that, because that is still you're giving in the sense that you're fighting for something for the generation behind you in football. And a lot of people don't understand that. And like I said, at the time, even me playing, we don't understand the importance of that. So for the young NFL guys listening to now, right, who are ignoring it, don't understand what they're involved in, why is it important for them to understand the fight or the union or how it works or how things are voted on? Like, explain that.
I'll say to every young player either coming into the NFL while you're still in college, or every young player in the league and you really don't know, man, what's the NFLPA? Like, what do they do for us? Like, who are they? I see them letters, but I don't really understand it. That's your business. That's your business. That's all your benefits. That 401k where they say, oh yeah, you got 2-to-1 match. Yeah, that's the NFLPA. Yeah. We do that.
No doubt.
We do that. There's so much money made, right? You talk about, oh, it's gambling come. We know there's TV rights, TV deals and stuff. Your NFLPA guarantees that you get that Madden check, that's your royalty check. That's what it is. The NFLPA guarantees that, and they fight for you every single day, that you're going to get that check and have a share of all those new deals, all that new revenue. They're fighting for you. They're fighting for your benefits. They're fighting for you for while you're playing, making sure you got great working conditions that we're not doing two-a-days, that you're not getting brought into the building in the off season when you're not supposed to, that you're not, tackling when you're not supposed to tackle. They're fighting for your rights every single day, not just against the NFL, but again, they're trying to prepare you for life after football, taking care of your health, mental health, your body health once you're done. That's what the NFLPA is. So I encourage all of you, be involved in some way, shape, or form or fashion. Go to rep meetings, learn something about it. Go to leadership meetings. Like, they serve you. You are the union. You are the NFLPA, but they serve you, and that's a part of your brand, your business. Be a part of it, man.
No doubt. That's deep, man. I wish somebody would have said that to me when I walked in the door as a rookie and told me I would have took advantage of a lot more things, like I said. But you live and you learn. I learned a lot from this dude. He sat on that board as well, like you did, and it's hard to understand. I think what bothered me the most is, and even working at the PA, was that a lot of guys leave their vote on the table, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like in regular politics, right? But a lot of people leave the opportunity to make decisions that affects them, directly impacts them. They leave it on the table. So my biggest thing is, like, just be involved, just learn what it is, vote on stuff that has something to do with you. And then they think it's not even about now, it's about 10, 20 years down the line, because a lot of things been voted on that affects you when you're not too, like 55, 60 years old, but it still affects you and your family, right? So being able to be educated on that and what you're doing, like I said, and it takes a lot. The reason I respect people like you and Charlie that do that is because it's not a glorified position.
Right.
It's not something that it's a lot of bullets getting thrown. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things coming your way. So it's something you stand up in front of that and you like, I'm gonna be a leader in that, man. So I think that's something that commends you on, man, because it is something that needs to be continue to be done. But tell me a little bit more about, your philanthropy, man. That's another thing that I've been very impressed, your social justice and just your, that's one of the reasons we want to have you on the show, because you give in a lot of different ways, right? Giving is not just one way, right? But you're committed to making an impact and changing other people's lives. Tell me a little bit about your passions off of the field.
I'd say one of the biggest passions I have off the field is in education. We could say financial literacy, but actually just like helping kids understand there are resources out there for you, and there's more ways for you to be successful than just playing football. Now, don't get it twisted. This game, if you play this game, it can do wonders for you and your family. However, once you get to college or once you get to the NFL, there are other ways that you can take advantage and other resources you can take advantage as well to be successful. And even if you don't make it there, use education. That could take you probably even further, right? So one thing I'll share is, like, in my Camp Mike T, it's a youth football camp I do in Houston every year. I was fortunate enough to start giving out academic scholarships maybe around 2016, and since then we've been giving out academic scholarship probably of $10,000 every single year. And once I started making my clothing brand, No Excuses, we took a lot of the proceeds from that to fund that $10,000 scholarship. So in a sense of giving, like you said, I got some gifts. I come bearing gifts.
My God.
Got some hats, some swag.
I was going to ask you, too. I was going to be like,
y'all brought me on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all fit it. You know what I'm saying? Snapback or dad hat. But, I got y'all, man. So
I got the golf one, and I got the one with rock out.
Yeah, out. When you outside. When you outside. So, yeah, man. So that's one thing I like to do, bro. Like, I told myself when I was in middle school, high school, like, we had a few guys in the league. Aaron Glenn, he didn't become a head coach, this cycle, but it's happening. It's gonna come for him. He's a Nimitz High School legend. I said, if I ever make it to the league, I'm gonna give back, like, to my community by coming back and just showing face, letting kids know, like, somebody who walked the same hallways as you, came from the same neighborhood as you, made it so can you. So once I came back, I was like, dude, I want to do something that's for our community, give out scholarships, and it's been a great experience.
It's showing up, man. I think you just mentioned something in what you're talking about, just coming back and showing face, and just see the people seeing that you're real and that you came from where they come from, and that that you're taking time out of what you're doing to show up. And a lot of us, we think giving back has to be this elaborate thing sometimes. Sometimes showing up is impacting somebody's life, man. So that's deep stuff, man. So tell me a little bit about I think you have advocacy, your advocacy work, man. Yeah, I know you was involved in the social justice stuff.
Absolutely, man.
When this all went down, and COVID, and George Floyd and all that stuff, and the Players Coalition, just all that kind of stuff, man. Tell me a little bit about the social justice stuff.
Take it back. I mean, because even at our NFLPA press conference yesterday, somebody asked a question. I was like, okay, yeah, we taking it back. I was like, okay, let me get back in that mental headspace. But nah, like I say, in 2016, I think it was back-to-back unjust murders of Philando Castile and Alton Sterling. And I was, at that time, like, okay, I'm about to be team captain with the Dolphins and special teams, always in the community, just doing work, and he's always smiling, got great energy. In that 24-hour period, that was the first time I've ever went on my, I don't know, Kanye rant or something like that on social media, but it was still like, hey, we all just need to come together, let's go, stand in front of the courthouse, let's march, let's, try to make them respond to us, make them say, hey, we're about to do this, have some type of action and some type of call to justice for what just happened out to Sterling, Louisiana, because I was born and raised there before I moved to Houston. It moved me. I understood what was coming for me in my football career, but at that point, looking at my daughter, who was 2 at the time, I'm not going to say it didn't matter, but at the same time, I was like, this is bigger than me. If I'm looked at as a leader in the community when it comes to every other cause, how can I not stand up when the community that looks like me is hurting this bad? So I used my voice and my platform at that time, joined a couple of players, Eric Reed, Colin Kaepernick, Kenny Stills, and taking a knee to fight against social justice and unjust murders in our community, and that took its turn.
It's part of history, man.
It's part of history, and now that we've kind of come out on the other side, and society has kind of turned how they really or how they felt about it, at least publicly. It's like, okay, you're on the right side of history, but I'll tell you this, like I was about to say it was heat. It was a whole lot of heat doing it. It was a whole lot of heat doing it, man. But I'd say that, I knew I was doing the right thing then. I take whatever came with, the consequences of whatever that came with it. I'm a grown man. I made a grown man decision. I'm willing to take that. But at the end of the day, I know that my daughter will be able to, as she's using Google and stuff now, she's 9 years old, she's going to be able to say, okay, my dad did something.
And you stand, that's one thing that nobody ever take you. I stood on my principles when I was at the highest platform. So when you now go back and tell when the lights are dim and you can tell the story, I was on the front lines, I fought the fight, I was here, and nobody can ever question your integrity. So with all that being said, I appreciate you for a stance that you have taken over the years, because it's not easy, and especially when you're sitting back trying to get those last few years.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And it never, because that never goes away. You know what I'm saying? It never goes away, but that's fine.
Absolutely.
That's fine. And
that's something good to stay with you, though, man.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Like I said, stood on your square, bro. You know,
to everybody, exactly, and to everybody else, there's also positives in that, because while it does stay with you while you're trying to fight for that, it also stays with you in a good way too, because everybody's like, nah, he
was one of the ones that stood up.
And opportunities come from that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So, and speaking of opportunities, to your question, Sheila Jackson Lee brought me in to intern with her like 2-3 different times. She wanted me to do it every single year. I'm like, all right, Congresswoman, I respect you, Congresswoman Jackson Lee, but I got a family too.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Being able to go to Capitol Hill, bring our issues there, and actually do work in the Houston area with her to make huge impacts in our community, that was something that came about my advocacy. Being able to partner with the NFL, with Nike, to bring about, social justice awareness with T-shirts because of my brand. They wanted to partner with me. That happened with my advocacy. So, I mean, for me, it was like, whatever I got to do, however I could use my voice and my platform while I got this stage, I'm going to do it, man.
Man, Given is legendary, man. That's definitely why you're on the show, man. I was really looking forward to having you on, because, like I said, when you make a stance like that, that's legacy. That's not going nowhere. That's history, man. And that's what Given is, man. When somebody takes a piece of them and puts it on the line for other people and continue to give people and impact people, man, that's what this is, man. So definitely, you are definitely somebody that should be on, considered a Given legend amongst all the other legends things that you are, but you are definitely, man, a Given legend, man. So kudos to you, man. I wish more of us understood at an early age, like you were able to do while you're playing and do that stuff, man. But kudos to what you got going on, man. Absolutely.
Glad you had the opportunity to join us. Before we leave, though, where can people go to find you and learn more information about what you have going on?
I'll say this, man. Start going to noexcusesshop.com. That's where you can find the gear. It has more information about us and about what we do in the community. So noexcusesshop.com.
We appreciate you again. Like I said, man, it's been long days down here on Media Row, but you want to know what? There are no excuses. This is what we're talking about. Go out and support my man, Big Mike.
Indeed.
Hey, as always, man, appreciate you. Thank you.
Man.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Giving Legends Podcast.
Find us on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and comment on what inspires you to be a Giving legend in your community.